How are we doing? I'm tired. I'm just gonna preface this video with that. But I need to film this video, so let's try and get amped. Anyway, we're talking about everything that I watched in the month of September. Jeez, I can't believe September's over. I do have to say that. This month flew by. So I haven't actually watched that many things, but knowing me, this is gonna be a long one. So let's strap in and get going with the seasons watched. Starting off with Marvel's The Punisher season 1. I gave 1 of 5 stars too. I'm very glad that I finally got around to finishing this. If you've been around here, this has been living in my currently watching for so long, and I'm finally done with it. So I'm glad I got to say that. But I really don't like this, and I hate to say that because I love Frank Castle. It's like my favorite part of Daredevil season 2. I was so excited for the show, but it consists out of like a bunch of things that I don't like in shows, which I didn't know beforehand because I didn't really look into these shows, what they were about, because I was gonna watch them all anyway. Like, to be fair, Jessica Jones is a private detective, which is also a thing I typically don't like, and I love that show. So, you know, sometimes it's worth it taking a risk, but not for the show because it just really painfully wasn't my thing, and I never really got properly invested in it. And I do also think, just like any of these shows, it is a bit dragged out, which also doesn't help. And yeah, but I even in kind of moments where it was moving, I still was never really that invested. Then next we have Wednesday season 2, which I give 2 to 5 stars to. I was very disappointed by the season. I feel like that's like the most common opinion I've seen on the show so far. And I didn't think season 1 was a masterpiece, but I thought it was a fun time, so I was very excited for season 2. And I do have to say this is my only point of familiarity with the Addams Family. Like, I do know all of them, but I have not watched any other Addams Family content in my life. I do have to say that. But this season was such a bore. Like, it was so dragged out, and oh my god, I did not care. I do have to say that contrary to The Punisher, whenever things were actually going on in this show, I was invested. I was going, but I mainly liked the things that were focused on Wednesday, Enid, and oh god, what's her name? Agnes. I When those three were on screen, I was having a good time. But like all the other times, I was just like, what are we doing? And I was bored. And yeah. Then next I watched Ghost season 2, which I give 3 out of 5 stars to. This again very mid, just like the first season, but it is a fun time. I like watching it when it's like I like having it on, and it's an enjoyable enough time when I'm actually watching, but it is also like pretty forgettable, and it's fine. I do have to say that I am getting more attached to these characters, so there's that. Then next I have Angel season 2, which I get 5 stars to. If you don't know, I'm making my way through the Buffyverse, and I have been doing so all year. It's been going pretty slowly, but I'm so close to the end now, and it's making me depressed. But that's something else for another time. But when I watched the first season of Angel, I wasn't a big fan of it, so I'm switching like between seasons the way something online, like a watch kind of line, told me to do, because I wasn't gonna switch between episodes. That's too much of a headache. But I wasn't a big fan of season 1, so when I saw that season 2 and 3 were on the docket, I was just like, oh god, no, I want to watch Buffy. That's all I care about. But I went into season 2 and I loved it. I didn't love it, it's 4 star, but I really, really enjoyed it. I feel like it definitely found its groove more as a show, and it became so much fun. We also introduced like 2 new characters, kind of. One character was technically introduced into season 1, but we barely do anything with him in season 1. In this season, he's main cast. And then we have a side character introduced in this one as well. I'm gonna say his name is Lorne. He's my favorite character of this entire show. I'm obsessed with but I do think they did a great job like running at the cast that way. And overall, I did think like the overall storylines were very interesting. Villain was great this season as well. And yeah, I feel like it still does some ridiculous things sometimes, just like Buffy does, but I feel like it is more grounded in the show right now, rather than in the first season. I kind of felt like they were just like rambling to do anything. So like flying, like throwing anything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I feel like in this one it kind of feels more like part of the course, so that makes sense. So then I also immediately watched Angel season 3, which I gave 5 stars to. Oh my god, who am I? I never saw this coming again when I watched the first season, but I love this season so much. And like my favorite thing about it I can't talk about because that's technically a spoiler, but let's say it's ship related, and also something I never saw coming. But oh my god, I'm obsessed. Anyway, but I do think the plot in this season was just so strong. It went so many different directions that I never saw coming, and it just kept going. Like sometimes when we were like, starting with something, I was like, oh, okay, so like the resolution to this is gonna be the season finale, and like 3 episodes later was the resolution to that, and like we were on like on such a longer journey, and I was so hyped for it. Like, I don't know, this season had me gagged so many times with like its reveals and twists and turns, and I was just like, oh my god. And yeah, incredible. Also, great addition to the cast again this season with like one character. So there we go. Then next we have Absolute Computer season 10, which was a rewatch and gave had 5 stars too. Y'all can say about BTV whatever you want. I agree, not the best character, but this season is banner after banner after banner. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it. Like, honestly, every day I was like, oh my god, this great episode. And it just kept going like that. I do have to say we're back on a weekly schedule because we're not in summer anymore, so we're not daily anymore. So this is gonna go slower from now on. But ooh, so strong. Next, I have Spring season 1, which is a rewatch, and I gave it 5 stars too. So, if you don't know, Spring is basically the like teen show, and it came out when I was like very, very young. So, I never got to experience it as a teenager, but I did watch it as a kid, and my memory of it is hazy at best. I do have to say that. I do, because it is centered on the bands as well as the dance school, but the band is relevant to what I'm gonna say. I do love the music from Spring. I grew up listening to that a bunch of times, and they are the team of the Studio Nacional this year, which I'm going to. And I'm so excited for it. It's my first time, and I've been wanting to go ever since they invented it. So I really wanted to rewatch the show. Now that I think that knowledge of the show is going to be necessary doing it, it's mainly going to be focused on the songs, but still I kind of wanted to do it. It's something that's been on my mind to do for a while anyway, so I thought this was the right opportunity for it, and I watched the first season already, and it's fun. It's so much fun, and it holds up surprisingly well. I do have to say, I have no memories of this first season. There's like 2 characters in this that I had no memory of at all. To be fair, they're only in this season, so I shouldn't be blamed. But so many things that I do have memories of are not a thing at all just yet. So I don't know, I'm very excited to continue on my rewatch because I had so much fun watching this. And then lastly, for the shows this month, I have Marvel Zombies, which is a miniseries, and I give 1 of 5 stars too. This is Marvel's latest release. I've never been a zombie person, so again, I wasn't too hyped about it, but I did like the What If episode that was Marvel Zombies, and I don't like a lot of What If episodes, so that says something. So I was hesitantly excited for this, but I really don't like it. This is another one that I just never managed to get me invested or like engaged in it at all. And I don't know, I also think it's like such an odd project to release right now because all the characters that it focuses on are like start of phase 4 characters. So characters we haven't spent time with in years, and all of a sudden they're like the leads everywhere. So it definitely feels like it was supposed to come out a couple of years ago. So I don't know what happened there, probably because production on animated shows takes a long time, but like still. So yeah, that's everything that I watched for shows this month. So let's go in my currently watching, which is actually a really long list because here's the thing. When I originally got serialized and I started like tracking all of my watching, I I said that I was only gonna include Flemish fiction shows because I would include every show I watch that's in Dutch. There'd be way too many, and I just didn't really feel like it. And also, I'm not that great at grading non-fiction shows, like reviewing non-fiction shows, if that makes sense. Which is bullshit because I talk about 2 seasons of Taskmaster every year on here, like it's no issue. But still, I felt like I was gonna like overload everything, and I didn't know how to talk about it. So I was like, I'm just not gonna do that. But then the year has continued more and more, and I've gotten more into TV shows, and I've gotten more into tracking TV shows. It's just been pissing me off that I'm not tracking everything that I watch. So I found a middle ground where at least until the end of 2025 I will be tracking, but I won't be logging. So that means I will be like clicking watched every time I watch an episode of these shows, and I just won't like log a season when it's done. You know what I mean? I will say I will start doing this in 2026 because the only reason I'm not doing it now is because I do have like yearly lists and things, and those won't be complete, and that will piss me off even more. Like, I don't know, that will be annoying if I just start doing that now and it won't be complete. So but for these videos, that means that these shows will be featured in my currently watching, but will never show up in my like seasons watched until we get to 2026. I will say that. So you will get some of like my true thoughts while it is airing, but not necessarily my full thoughts on a season. I'm sorry for that, but that means my currently watching this one is extremely long, and this is also gonna see why I wanted to originally keep this out of it. But let's start with our usual suspects. Starting off with Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 6. flying through this as well, having so much fun with this as well. I was very curious to see how they're gonna do a certain thing, and I'm actually really glad with how they're doing it. I think it's so interesting. So yeah, but it's a really good season. And again, I'm at very nearly at the end of the season, and then I have only one season of Buffy left, and that generally makes me depressed. I don't want to think about that. Then we also have Only Murders in a Building season 5. Yes, I love the show. You know that I watch it every season. It's so good. This season is so good as well. It's so strong. I'm so intrigued by it. I think the concepts of this one is so fun, and I've giggled a lot, but I've also like gasped a lot. It's like, oh, you know. And they're doing so good at like the end of episode cliffhangers this season, like it's insane. So yeah, big fan. Then we have Taskmaster series 20. Fine, I'm actually having a good time, but I feel like the last 2 seasons were like all-time greats, so I'm feeling a little bit disappointed in comparison. But if I try to erase that from my mind, I am having a fun time. And then we also have Milo season 3. Good times, that's all I'll say about it. And then I have Spring season 2, which is a rewatch, and also good times. I haven't watched that many of them because we literally finished season 1 on the 29th of September, so only on the 30th. Didn't watch this with my mom. On the 30th we only got to watch a couple of episodes of it, but it's a good time, and it's already introducing elements that I remember more, so I think that's going to be a really good time. So yeah, now we're getting into all the billion shows that I typically won't talk about, but now I will. So sign up. Because a new TV season has started, so there's a lot to talk about. I don't know if it's a Code van Kop is season 6 already, like they're on the 6th season already. I can't believe it. But this is basically just like escape rooms, but with like celebrities solving them. And I always think it's so much fun. It's funny. I think they've had some great rooms so far this year. So I don't know, I really like it. Then we have Kom eten bij Play 4 programma's season 2. So there's I believe it's Come Dine With Me in Britain, if you trying to do some context. So it's that, like that was really popular like years ago, so now they're doing it with celebrities instead. I think it's fun, and it's always themed around like a different show on the channel. And there's been some hit weeks, there's been some flop weeks. It kind of depends on who's there, but it's fine. Then we have Sin Again season 2, which Remy is on this one, and I'm rooting for him so hard. And at this point where I'm filming this, we only have the finale, and I want him to win so badly. But by the time you see this, you'll know who has won, and I'm gonna look so embarrassing if it's not him. But if you don't know, Sin Again is basically this singing competition show where all of the contestants are contestants of previous singing competition show. And this season they also added like the caveat of you kind of also had like one big hit once upon a time, which made you appear on TV a lot, but like you didn't get like a big career out of it. So that's good. And Remy de Smet, who was a competer on 4 sur 4, is in this season. And I love him so much. Like, I wanted him to win so much. I'm very glad with Julia El Kadri, don't get me wrong. I think they made the right decision, but I wanted him to win so bad. So now I want him to win so bad this time around. So, yeah. They have Yanni and James in itself, season 2. And this is also a really fun show, but that's mainly because I love Yanni and James. I feel like if you don't like them that much, I don't think you'll love the show that much, but it's really fun. Then, of course, we also have The Vrulsjes, season 7. Again, 7 seasons. How do we get here? I have a blast every single time, I do have to say that, and I look out forward to it every Sunday evening, and it has not disappointed. Then we have, I'm gonna put these in reverse order, these are the last 2 because they kind of belong together. So you have The Verraders, season 4. This is the Traitors, but I don't I feel like I've seen a lot of hype around the UK doing Celebrity Traitors. We've always done Celebrity Traitors, and I really like it. I'm obsessed with the show. I think it's so good. But like, to be fair, I'm also a big The Mole fan. If you don't know, The Mole is originally a Dutch, like a Flemish program. But like, that's like my favorite show of all time. So I feel like if you get my love for that, you also can understand my love for this. I think it's so much fun. This season, I think they made like an interesting choice for the Traitors. They definitely wouldn't have necessarily been my choice, but I know that obviously every viewer has their own favorites. But I do think they have a really fun cast. And then the last show I'm talking about in this section, and also just in this video in general, is The Verraders de Ronde Tafel season 3, which this is the talkback show, and it's one last season because they didn't do this the first season of The Verraders, so that's why, guys. But this is a talkback show, and I think it's a little bit unnecessary, but I'll watch it every week. I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, that is everything for the shows. I yapped so long, I knew I was gonna do that, but there you go. Now you see all the shit I watched. So let's wrap things up with the one movie I watched this month. It was really bad. I actually thought I watched no movies this month because I watched it at the very start and I kind of forgotten about it. But There we go. It's the one Paris, which won 2025 and gave 5 stars too. Oh my god, this was so much fun. If you don't know, this is a rom-com from Netflix with Moana Cosgrove, and I'll watch anything with Moana Cosgrove in it because I call you raised me, that's right. And this was so much fun. It honestly really reminded me, even though it was very different, it very reminded me of The Selection by Kira Goss, which again, very, very different things. But kind of like the whole premise of this girl participating in like a dating competition because she actually wants to get something else out of it, and then and the guy hopelessly falls in love with her and kind of like ignores the rest because she only cares about her. Well, she's kind of like, eh. Like that's The Selection in a nutshell, but that's also this movie, and therefore, like, I don't know, between me obsessed with this movie, she was watching this. 24-year-old me cannot be held accountable, but I also had a blast watching this. I do have to say that. I think it just was like a very fun, like silly rom-com. It's kind of what I needed at the time. And yeah, that is everything I have for you today. So let me know in the comments if you like any of these shows, if you watch them, also if you like my inclusion of the other shows, because I can get rid of it for next month. They will be here in 2026 just permanently, but I can also just keep track of them and serialized, and I'll talk about them on here. It depends on what you want. So yeah, let me know in the comments, and then also let me know about the shows and movies you watch this month. I'd love some recommendations, of course, and then I'll hopefully see you next time. Good. Here I am again, the same old situation. What does